Alright, today I'm going to show you how to write the letters of the Coptic alphabet. That is Palfabaton and Tmentra Minkemi, الأبجدية القبطية, the Coptic alphabet. The first letter is Alpha. Depending on the font, there are sometimes different ways to write letters. This is the way I was taught, Alpha. And it's really similar to the letter A in English. Or the letter Aleph بالعربي. Next is the letter Beta. Beta. Really just like the letter B in English, or Ba. Depending on the dialect, it sometimes might make more of a V sound. So V. Next is Gamma. Gamma makes kind of a G sound. And depending on the dialect, it can sometimes make more of a R, like the French R, or the Arabic letter Ghain. Gamma. So far, these are all letters that are common, that they have in common with Greek. Next, we have Delta. Delta, some people have like a tail on their delta. It's just like the letter D in English. Da, da. Some people pronounce it more like a the, like the letter val بالعربي. That's also depending on the dialect. I studied Sahidic, Saidi. Some of you watching this might be trying to learn Buhayric, Buhayri. Next we have Epsilon. Epsilon. It's kind of like the letter E. People kind of debate how best to pronounce the epsilon. Sometimes people pronounce it like an eh, sometimes like a schwa, like an eh, or sometimes e. Especially if it has a iota after it. So that's kind of like it's a diphthong, E. E. Next, we've got Eta. Eta looks like a letter H, but it's actually a vowel. Most people think it was pronounced like a long E sound. Eta. Eta. And then there's theta. Theta. In Greek, this made a TH sound, th. Although in Coptic, it's more commonly tau plus the hore, so combining T and H into one letter, it's still just t or ta, something like that. Although that also depends on the dialect. I think people who study Buhayric might actually pronounce it like a th. Next we've got Yota or Yoda. It's kind of like the letter I. It often makes kind of a Y sound, yeah, or E. Next is Kappa. Kappa is just like the letter K. Ka. Kappa. Next we've got Lambda. Lambda. Lambda makes an L sound, la. And then we've got Mu or Mu. It's just like an M except a little curvier. Let me do it again. Mu. makes a m sound. Let's keep going. So next we've got nu. Nu looks like a capital letter N. Nu makes a n sound. There's exi. There's a little variation in how to write this one. Exi makes a x sound, like an X, or K plus S. X, x. Then we've got Omicron, which just looks like an O. Some people think it's really like an O, although some people think it's more like O. There's pi, which is like the letter P in English, P. Although a lot of people also think it might have been pronounced more like a B. So I'll put B with B next to it. In Greek, which is where this letter came from before it got to Coptic, it was probably pronounced more like a P at certain stages of the Greek language. Next is rho, which confusingly looks like the letter P, but it's rho. It makes an R sound, like r. R. Next is sigma, which looks just like the letter C, but it makes an S sound, S, or like a sin بالعربي. Then finally we've got tau. Tau looks like a capital letter T, makes a T sound. Although some people pronounce it more like D, D. So I'll put D here, or dal. Then we've got phi. Phi looks like a circle with a vertical slash through it. It's supposed to be kind of like an F or a PH, phi. Again, it really depends who you ask. There's a lot of different ideas about the best way to pronounce words in Coptic, depending on the dialect and the time period. Okay, let's see if there's. Yeah, okay, yeah, you get that. The ch sometimes, the kai or the chai or the shy. People think it was mostly pronounced like a ch. This isn't well, so it's usually pronounced ka if the word is a Coptic origin word, and cha if the word was borrowed from Greek. So cha / ka. Okay, this is more of a rare letter, the psa. I think this pretty much only shows up in Greek loanwords. Psa, psi, makes a P plus S sound. Psa. All right, we're almost there. Next we've got omega. Omega kind of looks like a rounded W, makes a long O sound. Omega, O. Then we've got shy. This is one of the first ones that's unique to Coptic. It's one of the letters that developed from taking letter forms from Demotic, which is one of the cursive ways of writing hieroglyphs, and adapting it to kind of the borrowed Greek alphabet. So we've got Shai. It also looks a lot like the Arabic letter Shin. It's kind of like an omega, but with a tail. Then we've got Phao, or Phi actually, sorry, which kind of looks like a round letter 4. This one is also unique to Coptic. It comes from the hieroglyph for the viper, which made the F sound. Oh, here's one that is only in certain Coptic dialects. This is one of the ways to write kha. Kha. I believe this one's used in Buhairic, but not Sahidic. Then there's hore, or hori, makes a h sound, h. This one's also unique to Coptic. And then there's Janja. A lot of people say this is like a j or ch sound. The Janja. There's also Chima or Kima, depending who you ask, which is, well, some people give it this little extra part of the tail. I usually kind of just do this, kya or cha. And then there's really just one left. It's almost like a cross. It's T or D, depending who you ask. T or D. And it's also the way you write the verb to give in Coptic. And that's it. That's all of the Coptic alphabet. There's a few other letters that are just used for numbers, but those are pretty much all the letters you'll need for most things.